Whoa, what's going on, my design dude and dudettes? It's John, your stay at home designer. Thank you for stopping by today. We're going to cover a few things. We'll look at the markets and how they've reacted today. We'll also check out Tesla and was my trade a flop or not? Who knows? But Tesla did move big after Battery Day, and it definitely tested my position. So I'm going to kind of go over that so you can see where I'm sitting and what the next moves are to make sure we capture profit and keep the income train rolling. So definitely thank you. I appreciate your time here. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. There is no courses here, no BS. I'm not charging you to take a fancy course or anything, but I'm just here because my passion is to help you get time for your passions. So go ahead and hit that like and subscribe so we can get this out to more people. Alongside that, you'll be up to date on any recent trades and maybe some good opportunities. So let's get into it. We're looking at SPY here, the S&P 500. Pretty interesting. We're kind of having a small bounce at the 320 level. We did close kind of meh, nothing, no real conviction here, but I do think there's a big opportunity that we probably end up bouncing from these levels at some point soon, I think. I don't have a massive bearish bias at the current time, mostly because these politicians are very motivated. And the Fed, who is supposed to be independent, I don't think the Fed's very independent. So there's going to be a lot of more money printing, but let's see how the market does respond in the future there. So another thing that's maybe notable, depending on the type of trader you are and how much you believe in it, is this gap here at the almost 310 level. What I find interesting is it's right at the 200-day moving average. So, that could be something that's worth looking at. In the Qs here, Nasdaq's been supposedly the weakest, and people on CNBC are saying, oh, tech is getting destroyed and all this stuff. I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I think maybe it provides some opportunities for trading. It is under the 50-day moving average, so maybe this does become kind of like a magnet that we try to fight to break away from. Who knows? We'll see. But we did quickly get under it, so it only took about 4 or 5 days, basically a week to get under that almost. So very interesting, but I certainly don't feel like selling everything tech related at this point. It just doesn't really. There's nothing that indicates that to me in this case. But one thing I do find interesting, definitely the weakest out of any of the indexes I follow, is IWM. So the Russell 2000, you'll see this little trend line I put on, or this price line, at 160. It's about 159 to 160 is the range. But you want to know how powerful it is. It's always how many times do we touch it and either not bounce, and bounce away, or kind of stay under or above it. I mean, you'll see just on the daily chart in a year, we've touched it 3, 4, or 5 times. Recently, we've touched it twice in basically less than a month. And then where I see this interesting, let's look at the weekly. So over a 3-year period, I mean, look at the power of this thing. In 2017, twice. Boom, boom, boom. Just twice. No, 3 times here. Boom. In 2018, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So you can clearly see, I mean, this is just even on the weekly chart. So there's a lot of conviction for me at this level. And that is what I find interesting. There's a big dichotomy. Usually in a perma bull, perma bear market, you kind of see everything aligning the same way. So I find it interesting to not feel like there's a lot of weakness in certain indexes and parts of the market, whereas the others, there's a massive dichotomy. So let's keep an eye on that. We'll see. Okay, next, gold and silver I do find interesting too. So GLD, you'll see we'd kind of tightened up, looking for maybe a breakout in September. And that did not happen. And it actually went the opposite way. So that was interesting. I thought we were going to just continue higher. And so this is just proof that you and I never know where this market's headed. I'm actually being challenged on my 176 short strike currently. I guess I should have took profits a few weeks ago, but let that be a lesson. At least what I do when I enter my positions is I plan for risk management. So I try and assume, what's the worst case scenario if I hit max loss? Can I adjust? What can I do to defend my position? So I'm still in a position that actually this could pop back up, or we could go lower and try and hit support. Honestly, I don't know which way we go, but I will say this: if we keep dropping between now or sometime between now and the end of the year, I'm more than willing to start becoming very bullish on gold and silver. But right now I'm kind of meh on the metals. I don't feel a lot of conviction either way. But I am okay in a position to defend this. So whatever happens, I will keep you up to date. Silver, kind of similar, SLV. You'll note the biggest thing is the percentage changes are really big since this is kind of a smaller number traded stock. ETF here, I should correct that. But these gaps are very notable. Look at this, boom, boom, boom. Man, all the way to 18 or 15. So luckily we did bounce today, and this does seem like it could be a support level. But I wouldn't put all my money on it. So let's just kind of keep an eye on it, see where that goes. Okay, next, Shopify. So this is another position I do have. We did get tested actually quite a bit last week with the correction, and it did bounce. So thankfully, my it basically touched my break even, and I was in the red because the time value is still there. But this is exactly why you should consider patience. I had noted when I was looking at my break evens, Shopify was trading, like 50, 60 points above my entry. But I did note, hey, I've got possible support here. You'll see where my mouse is at the 880s, 860s level. And then I'm looking at maybe a possible big one here at the 835, 840s. So this is great. There's no way I could have anticipated this, but I felt comfortable with my position because I took in a good credit, gave me great break evens, and then I also sat on what looked like some okay support to defend my position. But this also, another key thing was I'm glad I didn't adjust early. Otherwise, I would be sitting in the red on the upside now that we jumped way high over the last couple days. So keep that in mind. The nice thing, I am pretty close to my target profit. I'm at a 48% profit at the moment. But with the current volatility, let's see where we end up tomorrow. I'd like to close it out tomorrow. So hopefully we get to that 50% or higher. All right, next is the big boy, Tesla. Volatile Tesla. Okay, so we had battery day pretty recently, just a couple days ago. And you may have seen, because everyone did, a ton of negative press, good press. It depends on who you asked, right? If you're asking investor me long term, I actually ended up being very happy with it. I'm blown away by the tech, the cost. Literally what they just said is no one else is going to be able to compete without actually saying it. Unfortunately, the amount of talent, engineers, designers, and tech, it's all going to be Tesla probably for this next decade, and or SpaceX, and they're all somehow they're all being used or shared resources. I don't understand how that's legal, but whatever, it is, and they're doing it, and I want to be a part of that in terms of whatever upside there will be over this next decade. So investor me, pumped. I actually, at the drop yesterday, got a couple more shares for the retirement account, and I'm really happy with that. So I will take it all day. Trader me, I actually don't really care which way the stocks move, as long as they're not too hyperbolic and they're in a position that gives me the opportunity to manage and adjust. Or if they just stay within my strikes, I'm really happy with that. So to give you an idea though, the reason I entered this, my most recent video kind of shows the entry, why I did it, but a lot of Robinhood and Reddit traders were going pretty hard on the calls. And so the skew in the call premium way up here, 500, 600, 800, was insane. I mean, way higher than the puts. And usually that's not the case. So we decided to treat it like almost like a binary event where if it was a flop or something, the premium just gets crushed. It drops immediately, like the next day, or if there's some after hours trading or things like that. That did happen. People were not happy, and after hours, Tesla started dropping like a rock. That put me in an interesting position. Basically, my downside, since I was kind of net bullish, I guess you could say, I was hoping this would be going the upside. It'd give me more room to run, and I'd be very profitable right away. But that didn't happen. So what happened is we got closer to my short puts here. My position was at the 382 and 372 level. So we ended up actually testing that. And what happened is my calls that I shorted, a lot of the premium got taken out because it went further and further away. So I ended up doing an adjustment, and my original credit was 516. My new total net credit is 656. And to give you an idea on that, we're at 656. 516. So I took in 140 of more credit just by rolling down. I went from that 560 short strike and 570. I now moved my new strikes to 470, 480, and now I'm collecting a massive $656 or 6.56, depending on how accurate you want to be there. So this is great. I'm in an awesome position. My new maximum loss, if Tesla goes just crazy one way or the other, and we either soar to the moon or drop like a rock, I'm looking at a $344 loss. So I'm basically risking $344 to make $656, which is great. So I'm almost risking one to make two now, and I will take that all day. And so generally speaking, a good like tasty trade, I guess rule of thumb is like 1/3 the width of the strikes. So I'm 10 wide on my risk, basically $1,000. And so generally speaking, 333 would be like considered good. I am beyond good. I'm double that. I'm basically 2/3 the width of the strike. And things are looking great. I'm okay with this. My position's good. My hope, or if I'm looking for the most ideal scenario, is we trade up a little bit, but the volume just dies down. So if we go up to about 410, 420, the magnetic 420, which I'm sure we get to at some point, and then the volume's just kind of quiet, they're going to release their numbers in about 8 or 9 days in terms of deliveries. That's probably when volatility picks up again. So if we kind of come up to here and the volume's a little quiet, I probably pocket most of that money that we have now. So keep your eyes out. Next week will probably be when this happens. Hopefully tomorrow, but I think Friday is too soon. And so next week you should see some more updates and videos related to that. But that's the biggest. Unfortunately, I have not a lot of new positions lately. We're at a weird point where 1016 is like the next monthly contracts that are really highly volatile, really liquid, easy to trade. And then everything else after that is either super far out or it's kind of a weird, it's like the triple witching. It's just really weird as far as how they close. And this is, I think, why September is always tricky. But no real big new positions for me. Maybe I'm going to consider some sideways trades for now. just kind of soak up a little bit of premium, but no home run hitters that I'm looking at for now. So I'll update as we go along. Disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not a CPA or a lawyer or a financial advisor or anything, but I am providing these as educational material. I know, with my nephews, my family, financial education was hard to even have, and when you graduate, you're on your own, and you don't even know how to manage your money. So I find that really sad, and I think it's important that people start taking control of their future and their destiny. So let's democratize that. Let's get better. Always keep your risk in check. But biggest thing too, please like and subscribe. When you do that and you hit the notification bell, you'll be up to date on the trades. More importantly, we'll get this out to more people. And I think that's all I've got for now, but I do want to know from you if anyone traded Tesla. What trade did you do? How did it work out? And or what moves are you making now? So let me know in the comments. I appreciate you. Thank you. It's time to get outside. There's no more smoke in the air, thank goodness. So I'm going to go enjoy that. And toodles, take care, trade well. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.